Conklin and Company with 13 ABC Action News anchor Lee Conklin. First with what's happening behind the headlines. And Take 3, our panel of political analysts.
Morning, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Conklin and Company. Today on the program, it's been a long haul, but there's some encouraging news on the local housing front. Home sales are up, home prices are up, not a lot, but they're up. President-elect of the Toledo Board of Realtors joins us to talk about that and other issues related to the housing situation here in the Lucas County area. Congress votes again approving a repeal for the Affordable Care Act. So what, if anything, really did that vote accomplish? And we officially really have a true race for the White House. The president, Mitt Romney, locked in a dead heat this week. Presumptive GOP nominee planning a campaign visit to the Toledo area. All that on the way in Take 3 with Fletcher Word and Michael Miller. But first, 5 years in the making. Over 5 years since the tragic accident prompted action, the Bluffton bus crash that claimed the lives of 5 student athletes as well as the bus driver and his wife. Today, an unrelenting effort to make motor coaches safer is now law, thanks in great part to our guest this morning. John Betts lost his son David on that fateful morning, March 2nd, 2007. He joins us in studio on Conklin and Company. It is great to see you, John.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Congratulations on the on what is a culmination of incredible effort. I know on your part, you worked with Senator Sherrod Brown as well, yes, in concert on this, and you finally got it done. Yeah. And this bill and this signature kind of overshadowed by the student loan situation, right, big infrastructure bill, right, but this, nothing more important to you than this, right, as you have your son David on your heart there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, David was obviously the major motivation for our family to get behind this, and I think it's been a very strong team effort of Senator Brown, also the advocates of highway and auto safety, as well as all the families across the country, and there have been a lot of families across the country that have been affected and victimized by motor coach crashes that have accomplished this. And it has been, it is a very exciting time to see this accomplished, and I think we need to thank all of those entities. It's not just not the Betts family. It's Senator Brown and his staff, yeah, as well. So
we did a story a number of years ago with Senator Brown, your wife Joy, and you did get many of the things you were looking for, yes, in this bill, John. Yeah. Let's take a look at the specifics of this new motor coach safety law. Now this is for new buses, not the buses that are currently rolling down the highway. And maybe you can go to this. Every bus will require, and this is a big one for you.
That's huge.
Seatbelts. Talk about that.
Well, the seatbelt rule is the one that prompted us in the first place. And the seatbelts, the regulation is that the Department of Transportation Secretary has 1 year to actually rule make and have a rule regarding seatbelts, and then the manufacturers have 3 years from that point to comply, which means basically by 2016, every new motor coach will have a 3-point restraint in the bus, which is huge for the Bluffton University family, because all 5 of the boys that died were ejected at a very high rate of speed and died because of head and torso trauma. So you believe to this day, and you told me this, that if there were seatbelts on that bus, your son was wearing a seatbelt, he would be here today. Yeah, there's no question. All the seats in the motor coach were intact. So it was a horrific crash, and yet all the seats were intact. So if my son and the other boys are in their seat, they're intact. Yeah. So that was a very huge piece. As it relates to just the new motor coaches versus a retrofitting, there's 2 aspects of the retrofitting because I said actually about 3 or 4 years ago I would never let go of retrofitting, that we needed to have the buses, motor coaches retrofitted as well, the existing ones. But I think there's 2 issues that came up that changed my mind. One was the more information I got, it seemed very apparent to me that we needed to be more reasonable, that each motor coach and each model of each motor coach is got a different infrastructure. So even if you put 3-point restraints on some of the motor coaches, it would not be that much significantly
And
safer.
did you going into this battle, and it did become a battle, right, with the motor coach industry, right?
Oh yes.
That there you would have to compromise, that there would have to be wiggle room on this because of the cost. They would fight you on cost. And on everything else. So you got, let's take a look at Jonathan, our director, if we could see the other points of this law. I mean, you get a number of other things as well. Crush resistant roofs here, flame retardant interiors, anti-ejection, window glazing. So a number of provisions in this bill that you, and of course Senator Brown and the victims' families wanted.
Yes, all of those, as a matter of fact, and especially across the country, as you look at different motor coach crashes, the Texas contingent had a number of folks die because of tire pressure issues. A number of other folks in Texas died because of the kinds of non-resistant fire interiors that were there. And then, of course, there's also, besides those things, there's also the operator issues, making sure that fatigue logs are filled out correctly and that they have their health assessments are done on a regular basis to make sure they are fit to operate virtually a 25-ton bus going 75 miles an hour 95% of the time. That's someone that you want to make sure behind that wheel is in the kind of shape that they should be.
And so many people live this with young student athletes who are in small colleges or major colleges. That's what you take. You take a motor coach. You take it to Florida. You take it wherever. You take it from here to Mishawaka, Indiana, and you are rolling down the highway. Seat belts are required to be in the buses, John.
That's correct.
But not going to be required to be worn.
Right.
So this is the first battle that you won. You figure what? You'll take what you can get at this point?
Well, we never had as a requirement to mandate that they be that you also have to wear them, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The biggest one was we figured it was going to take another decade to get that through because there's such a strong contingent of those people who believe that seatbelts ought to be an option and available, but my right as an individual should state if I want to wear them or not. So there was going to be a lot of pushback on that, and we felt as though the biggest thing that we wanted was, because David never had the other boys never had the option of buckling up, that we wanted to make sure that at least the option was there. I think if people have asked me, do you believe that it should be mandated? The answer is yes, I do. And it's very simple. It's a very logical piece. It has nothing to do with rights. It has to do with the fact that if I'm buckled in my seat and you are not, you will become a 150, 180 pound missile flying through the air who hit and will probably kill me. So, and that's what happens in a motor coach crash. It's very akin to a dryer. People are just tumbling around and being tossed and thrown around. So that's why we felt that it was important to mandate it, but we also tempered that with the fact it was going to take too long and we needed to get the seat belts on.
So this became your mission. I know it did.
Oh yeah.
And also you're building a baseball field. Yeah, another certainly labor of love for you is baseball.
Yeah.
So tell us about that, if you can quickly,
sure.
John, out in Bryan.
The David Betts Double Play Diamond is going to be located in Bryan, and it's a facility. It's an indoor baseball softball facility that's got basically it's 90 by 90 by 100, and it's going to have like 7 cages and a astroturfed infield, so that the boys and girls in the community can practice and play during such great weather that we have here in Northwest Ohio from basically September through April, May. So yeah, and that's something that David would have loved. Sarah, his sister, who was an All-American pitcher, collegiate pitcher as well, would have really loved to have some place they could go in the winter, and that's what we're hoping this does, is that we know David would have loved to have had something like this, and we believe the community as well.
All right, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
And this 5-year mission has come to fruition for you and all of the victims' families. And when that field is finished, we'll think about David Betts around first to third on a triple.
That's
and I remember
right.
you saying
That's right.
That's what you envision.
That's right.
Your son doing, stretching a double into a triple.
Yeah, he could fly.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
Yep.
John Betts.
Thank you very
As always,
much.
thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
Conklin and Company continues in just a minute.